right, time for another camera drop. I've had a lot of people asking me about the rig that I'm using, the process that I use to do this. So I figure I'm going to pretty much take you through the whole story. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is that what I'm doing is obviously not rocket science. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not doing anything original. I'm just dropping a camera to the bottom of piers and bridges to see what's there. People have been doing that for years, mostly with GoPros. I like doing it with the Insta360s because you don't miss anything because you're shooting everything. And then you get to kind of roll through it and post and reframe everything just the way you want it. You can tell stories that way. And I think the way they look brings fish in and makes them curious. And you drop a human down there, they're gonna run away. But you drop the camera by itself and you actually get a lot of natural behavior. Also, it's a cool way to scout things. I'm an underwater cinematographer, and that requires finding the right cameras, putting them in the right housing, getting the right settings, and putting myself in this perfect situation to get the right shots. And really, when it comes to these camera drops, it's nowhere near as technical. It doesn't take any real skill to do it. I mean, a nutless monkey could do a camera drop, but one of the unique things is my particular setup, because when I first started doing this, you know, the cameras were spinning around on free line and it just kind of made you dizzy even if the shot was stabilized. So I needed to make something that was going to get a much more stable shot. So let's get into it. So I'm starting with this super old school bottom fishing pole. It was my father-in-law's, and I'm looking for one that I can cast with, but in the meantime, this thing works really good. Here's the camera, Insta360 X4, as you can see, lenses on both sides. Looks a bit like a fish. And I've attached this little 3-4 inch extension on it and added this little arm here to put additional things, which in this case is a little shrimp. See if something, I don't know, gets curious about it. And I've got the tripod on the bottom, and I added a little weight right here because this right here is positively buoyant. It'll want to rise and this will want to go down. So every time I bring the camera down, in most cases when there's not too much current, it'll go down to the bottom and sit there, and the camera won't spin. And the last modification I'll show you is this little connector. I got it at Home Depot, and I can tie the mono directly to that. I use a 100-pound test because I don't want to lose the camera, obviously, but that's thick line and you can see it in the shot pretty easily. But with this configuration, it sits on the extension, and when it hits the bottom, it's weighted so it slides to the bottom, and then this line drifts away from the camera, so it's pretty minimal. And that's my setup. And it is a work in progress, so if anybody has any suggestions or any gear partners want to talk to me about ways we can make this better, hit me up.